I didn't expect to do a Can Rants today. This would be Can Rants number 8. But something's come up, and I think it's the perfect time for me to talk about something that I've wanted to talk about for a long time. That is, no one respects canon anymore, or continuity. Lots of things happening in our world of comics and of movies. What got me started on this was there was an article came out about how Neil Blomkamp, who just did Chappie, he's done District 9 and Elysium, he's directing a fifth Alien movie. And it was talking about how Ridley Scott is producing this Alien movie, and they're working together to make sure that the Prometheus movies and the Alien movies fit together. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Prometheus 2 is happening. I don't know why anyone thought it was a good idea to make a sequel to that piece of shit, which I consider to be the second most disappointing movie of all time. Beaten out by Star Wars The Clone Wars, which barely takes a close is first. And what I mean by that, then we have the second Harry Potter Deathly Hallows movie, the whole Hobbit trilogy, and Indiana Jones' The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. That's my top 5 most disappointing movies of all time. So, I just thought this was... At first I just threw up in my mouth because of the fact they're making a Prometheus 2. But then I got to thinking, so wait, Prometheus and Alien are going to connect, but Neil Blomkamp's movie, which is looking like it's going to negate the second 2 Alien movies, is completely okay. Prometheus needs to be in the canon, but Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection don't. I'm sorry, I get that people don't like Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection. I'm one of them. There's certain things I like in those movies. I like how awful they both are, especially Resurrection. Resurrection has some of the worst acting moments ever. And Alien 3 is a perfect example of why you should give David Fincher a complete script. And you should let him edit his own fucking movie. They're perfect. They're fine. Prometheus is so much worse than both of those movies put together, though. And that's canon. That's in the continuity of Alien, but Resurrection and 3, not so much. And then this got me thinking, wait, why does no one ever care about continuity anymore? For instance, DC's New 52. They wanted a clean slate, and they got a clean slate, but then they threw in a bunch of crap, and Batman's back was broken. I know that happened because Bane referenced it in Batman The Dark Knight Volume 1. We talked about it on D&J Reviews. There have been 4 Robins, and one of them has died and come back to life, and this all happened in 5 years. Yeah, all of it. It all happened in 5 years. What's another good example? Oh, the new Star Wars canon. Apparently, they thought they were being hampered down with all of the old continuity. And what do? They make a Darth Vader series that rips off Vader's quest. Star Wars, the main Marvel title, rips off Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Star Wars Rebels rips off the plot of The Force Unleashed, where Starkiller kind of starts the rebellion. So on and so forth. The latest one, Heir to the Jedi, the first-person Luke novel, rip-off of I, Jedi. So, it's like people aren't original anymore, is what I'm thinking. No one is original anymore. They have to remake something, they have to reboot it, they basically tell the same story over and over and over again, but they change it just the tiniest bit, and they package it as new. I mean, did we really need another Batman origin story? Did 0 Year need to exist? I don't think so. I don't need retellings of stories all the time. And granted, I do like some retellings. I love Batman Year One. It's one of my favorite Frank Miller works, and it's one of my favorite Batman works. And that's a retelling, and it's done correctly because it doesn't change Batman's origin story. His parents were still killed. It was a story that really they didn't delve into all that much, of Batman being new and inexperienced. Same with The Long Halloween. It was an inexperienced Batman, which we really never had. And then with the New 52, oh, well, we're going to do this story 0 year, and it's going to have the Riddler, and it's going to take literally a fucking year to come out, and nothing's going to be changed by it at all. We'll just forcefully reference it in a Future's End event. That's all. That's all 0 year was good for. I have a feeling no one will ever remember Scott Snyder's 0 year. They'll remember The Night of the Owls. They'll remember Death of the Family. Actually, that's doubtful, Death of the Family. They'll remember Night of the Owls, and they'll remember Endgame. And that's it. They may remember Death of the Family, but 0 year will just get swept away. No one's going to remember that. And that's the same thing with all of these reboots. I mean, they're rebooting the whole Marvel universe. And I bet you, when they do that, people are just going to... A bunch of people will flock to all the Marvel titles, and they'll do like what they do with all Marvel titles now. They'll pick up the first 2 issues, and then everything will taper down in sales until it gets renumbered to number 1. You see, back in 2011, we were getting close with Action Comics and Detective Comics hitting issue 1000. Can you imagine if that would have happened? It would have been insane. People would have picked that up. But no, we have to reboot with the New 52, and now we have to reboot with Convergence. No. You see, people are like, oh, reboots are fine. I'm like, okay, let's take something here. Let's take The Walking Dead. If all of a sudden they just rebooted both the TV show and the comic, and they started out with, say, A New Beginning, issue 121 was the new start. They just relabeled that number 1. And then they said all this stuff happened in 2 months. Like, the governor taking over, attacking the prison. That happened, like, 2 months ago. Oh, yeah, All Out War, it happened, like, last week. And just all this stuff. We don't get to experience it. And then they redo Rick's origin. Apparently he wasn't in the hospital. He was, I don't know, out on patrol or something. And it's just something lame and doesn't have nearly the effect that the original did. Do you understand that now? Do you understand how I feel with Star Wars? Or, like, take Spawn. Spawn didn't get his powers from hell. He got it from blah blah blah, pulling it out of his ass. That's what this feels like. This is what the Star Wars reboot feels like to me. It's now what I think of the DC and Marvel reboots happening now. And this whole, Alien 5 can skip 3 and 4. No. I mean, I hope Alien 5's good. I mean, we should get a 3rd Alien movie that's good. But yeah, I should probably give my verdict here. So my verdict is no one cares about continuity anymore. It's like no one can work together anymore, so they change things. And overall, it's really annoying for us who like a consistent story that ties in together perfectly. Instead, we get like a half-assed story that has continuity errors up the ass. For instance, the Expanded Universe, Star Wars Expanded Universe. Yes, it's not called the Extended Universe, you fucking dumbasses on Screw Attacks. It's the Expanded Universe. Yes, there were some mild continuity errors. But it went decades without having any at all. And the ones it had were just mild, and then they were explained why they thought the way they did, why things happened the way they did instead of the other way. And then we get the new Disney canon, where Dave Filoni's Clone Wars contradicts with the prequels. Yeah. And there's all these questions that happen in like the original trilogy, not answered in the prequels. You know, that was the EU's job to do, but there's no EU anymore. So things don't make any sense. So that's all for this week. I hope to see you next time, and tomorrow I'm going to do a comic book wrap-up video, because I have stuff to talk about, believe it or not. So have a nice day.